Hello everybody, welcome back, and here we are. I hope I'm audible right now and you can hear me well. Let's get started from here on. Mainly we will be the name of the video is wrong, sorry for that. As the title, just a minute, I was supposed to do something else and here I am doing something else. Just a minute, let me change the title. This is gonna be just the revising the concepts and all. So revising the concepts of full stack development. So this is how it's gonna be going on. So ultimately I'm gonna do what the title actually suggests right now, and let's get started. Before even that, seems to be good. Alrighty, I hope everything's clear right now, and we can just simply continue. Hopefully I'm audible. Alrighty, I hope everything's clear right now, and yeah, I am audible. So the last thing that I needed to do, that is turning it off, and now everything's done. So without any further delay, let's simply get started. And the main focus is gonna be, first of all, going through this particular section. First of all, yesterday we went through the starter app that I had, and today we are gonna be going through this Airbnb hotel service code. It's gonna be quick, so it's not like it's gonna take a lot of time, and after that we'll try to rebuild something like this from scratch, and let's see how much we can actually do. Coming back to this, we have server.ts, pretty simple. Just it is actually like earlier one, but there is a express app, and we have attached correlation middleware, and these routers we have over here, app handler we have over here, and the job is done. There's many things we have here, and the most important part is gonna be this attaching this sequelized authentication somehow, not sequelized authentication, integrating this particular data ORM in our service, and sequelized.authenticate. Just okay. Where is this actually coming from? New sequelize, so we need to authenticate so that we are authenticated to use the service. We'll see what exactly it does. And apart from this particular thing, after that, if I go to v1 router, even let's do one thing. I should be going to models. We have hotel service over here, index.ts. Even I myself need to understand this well, because we have to create same things again and again over here. So that is something I have to keep in mind. But before that, services, hotel.service.ts, not this one either. So first of all, what did we do initially? Probably creating migrations, that is right, but the question is that how were these migrations created? Okay, just a sec. Turns out these migrations files were created automatically, and I'm sort of gonna do the same only. Yeah, let's do it, but before that, if I go through my notes, the main goal is to just simply implement this migration service, whichever way it's been implemented, then that is it. Ultimately, sequelized database. And once we've implemented that, then okay, we are good to go. CRUD APIs with this. Coming back to this one, not this one actually, probably. These are the queries, right? Alright, so what are we gonna do right now? First of all, we have to create validators. We have to go through many things. First of all, server.ts is pretty simple. When it comes to validators, so we have many schemas over here, and we have index.ts, that is simply validates either the body or the parents or something else depending on the need. Then we have utils where we have appError.ts, so we have different types of errors over here, and they are just simply implementing the appError, that is nothing but an interface that decides that status code is gonna be there for sure. And as for the message in the status code, message in the name, they can be added here separately. And hotel services here, what else can we do? v2 is here, that's fine as well. Routers, talking about repository, I think this is not this one. This mainly takes care of what? A repository mainly takes care of talking to the database and returning the result, right? So this is also one of the things. And correlation ID and error middleware we already knew, so this is going to be the error middleware over here. And correlation ID, request helper, okay, that's fine, it does the job. DTO, this is mainly for what? DTO, is this sort of a type here? Don't know, we'll see what's the use of it. Then we have migrations and models and seeders. Then we have controllers, version 1 and version 2, and these other things are there. Apart from this particular thing, we have config, in which we have dbconfig. Then we have index.ps, it looks like this, okay, just simply exports, so it should be in env.ts anyway, but never mind. And then we have logger. Apart from this particular thing, we have serialized config.cgs, and it turns out to be not working. One more thing, when it comes to this, it mainly accepts it supports JS code easily. So when it comes to TS, you need to configure a lot of things, and that is it. So do one thing, let's just simply try this thing out, and if we get stuck, we are going to be just taking the reference from here, and we'll just simply start working on it. Going ahead, projects lambda, let's go here only. We have expressly starter app, but we just can't really copy and paste the stuff, so let's create a self folder, and that's gonna be Airbnb self, that's gonna be the name, and that's what is gonna be created by us, Airbnb self. But before even that, we even have to know about the schema, exactly how the things have been written. So if I actually come back to, what is that called, just a sec. Alrighty, I hope I'm audible right now, and let's simply continue from here on. And overall things are clear. The only thing that we need to worry about, that is implementing this database, ORM, exactly how it's implemented, and that is it. And especially when implementing this, we have to keep two things in mind. First one is the migration, second creating the model. So let's do that. And even if we are creating, what is this, self Airbnb self, okay, so even if we are creating this directly with using and taking the reference from the written code, that's even fine, because the main code is not the what. Just a minute, somebody just simply shouting again and again. Alrighty, now the voice is not gonna be there. So what I was just simply saying that let's just simply work on it. So first of all, what do we need to do? npm what npx init, probably this, not npm init this. So ultimately we have this package.json here, and once we have this package.json, what do we need to do? It needs to be a TypeScript code, TypeScript repository, right? So npm and install TypeScript as a dependency. Oh, what is the problem? npm install TypeScript as a dependency not found HTTP this TypeScript. Literally. So what can I do? npm install. I think usually this is TypeScript only. TypeScript. Yeah, that's right. Earlier the spelling was wrong if I'm not wrong. Script. Never mind. This time it got done. And apart from this particular thing, what do I need to do? Let's create a source folder, and everything's gonna be inside this source folder. And apart from this particular thing, okay, let me see if I can do something else. By the way, npm install express and npm install express at the rate express slash, come on here, at the rate types slash express. They are gonna be installed. And apart from this particular thing, we gotta create some more folders, so we are just simply gonna be working on them. And let's see. Done. ls cd, let's go to source, mkdir. We need a middleware, we need a routes, we need controllers, of course, and after that validators. Even it can be routers, then we can have validators, and then we can have controllers, and probably a db folder that will have everything related to the database. And what's the next thing? I'm gonna just simply follow the same way that's been mentioned here. So we have what? We have db, yeah, config is there, that I forgot, and we can have utilities, services, yeah, two more. One is gonna be utils, another one is gonna be services, and probably config. Once created, if I go to source, I'm gonna have this, and touch index.ts, this is, or server.ts, we can name it anything. We are gonna have it here as well. Once we have it, if I go to this one, even npx tsc init, so TypeScript is initialized. And if I go to this one, root dir and source dir, they are actually gonna be exported just like this. Like root dir is gonna be source, out dir is gonna be date. So this much is done. Now when it comes to running this, so probably here in development mode I'm gonna be running it. First of all, even I need to build this anyway. So when it comes to building this, how can I do that? So building means tsc b, or just tsc is enough. When it comes to dev, that's gonna be npm run build, and we can even start it, right? So npm, or this is gonna be node slash disk slash index.js, and let's just simply, that should actually be start just like this, talking about this particular thing. So this is gonna be dev, and in development mode, first of all, what is the problem? We'll in development mode npm run build and npm run start. That should be fine. Let's see how it's gonna be going on. So this much I configured it, and the main is gonna be, of course, disk slash index.ts, and that is it. What is the next thing? Let's go to the server, import express from express. Don't we have types here? Values never read. Const express is gonna be app is gonna be express. Now the port number, for the port number I'm actually gonna create a sort of env.ts here. So env.ts, so it will just simply import. What will it import? It will import not even importing, db config, or just configure env.ts. So should it, what kind of name it should have? Export const env configure. I don't know whether this is the best name or not, but okay, never mind. We'll have what? We'll have port number here, and that's gonna be process.env.port. Otherwise by default it's gonna be 3000, just like this. And what is the problem here? It should be comma here, that's fine. Export is cannot be used. Let's make it module. Coming back to this one, now it can be definitely used. And once this is done, then app dot listen, that's gonna be the port, and not even port, in configure dot port, and clg server is running on port env config.port. Or we can do one thing, that's even fine. What does it mean? Should it be ts here? I think js is fine. js is usually fine, so what's the problem? config.env.ts, that's fine. File media is not under root dir. What is the root dir? Root dir is the source that is already there, bro. Root dir is the source. file env.ts is not under root dir. Import via config env.js from this merged by this JSON field with a value type module. This should not be problematic, but it is in that case. Include src, that should be fine. Yeah, now it's fine. And as for excluding it, I'm actually gonna use node modules that's going to be exclude, and dist folder is something that's going to be exclude. So this particular thing is done as well. Now even I could have gone with controllers. Even we need to have repositories over here. Repositories, that is mainly gonna be used for making a request to the database, and services are mainly gonna be for handling the other stuff. We'll see. Alrighty, so what's the next thing? We've done this much, and if I run npm run dev, well, it doesn't work. npm run build, npm run start. npm run build doesn't work. Okay. tsx TypeScript, t6 not found, so tsc and b. npx tsc. What is the problem? Aren't these things working? I think earlier I used to do the same only. I have already initialized it. Okay. So common commands complies current project ts config.json in the working directory, tsc app and utils tscb build a build a composite project in the working directory. So if I actually run npx tsc and b, so it is telling me what cannot read this particular file. One error is found there. Got it. This ts.json config JSON file was outside. That was the problematic thing. That simply means even if I just remove this part, it's not gonna be problematic anymore. Yeah, that's fine. Now if I run ls, even normal tsc should be enough. npm run dev. Now the problem comes that module not found. Which one? Dist index.ts. If I run it again, wow. So dist index.ts, sorry, js, that is not found because this is server.js. Now if I run npm run build, sorry, dev, so it starts running. Great. What is the next thing that I have to do? So this is the first thing that I did, and the next thing that I is creating a logger first of all. So npm run dev is fine, so it will just simply keep running. But the next thing that we need to do, npm install Winston, npm install sorry, what am I doing? Let's go to the Winston, and once I'm here we need to have logger configuration over here. So most of the things I'll copy and paste. So logger config should go here, logger.ts, and at the end I'll just simply copy and paste everything. Or let's do one thing, let's keep them side by side. Okay, so first of all, of course, do we need to have the Winston type as well? npm install @types/Winston. Done. So even we need to have npm install .env. Done. Import Winston from Winston. Const logger is gonna be equals to Winston.create logger, and then I'll have some properties here. Label is gonna be above info. Format is gonna be Winston.format.json. Now this format can be better, so we'll work on this. Default meta is gonna be user service. Forget about the metadata, not really worried about this. Then we'll have transports. Transports new Winston.transports dot, first one is gonna be for file, that's fine. File name is gonna be error.log for sure, and destination, so a label ultimately, that's gonna be error in this particular case. Similarly, we'll have one more, new Winston.transports dot file. Later we'll remove it, but first of all we'll see whether it works or not. File name, what is the problem? We have this. I'm not getting suggestions here. Never mind. File name is gonna be okay, because that's in small letter. This should be file. Okay, then file name should be here, and that's gonna be combined dot log or something, and label is gonna be nothing. We can even keep the label info, and once this is done, we can even add it if process.env.node in env, if that's triple equals to production, sorry, if that's not triple equals to production. In that case, we have to add what? Logger.add, and we have to add this particular section here. So new Winston.transports.console, and what should be the format here? The format should be Winston.format.json, or simple, keep it anything, depends on you. Let's keep it simple, we'll see exactly what kind of result we get here. Alrighty, so whatever we had to do, we've done it. Of course, we have to make it better and all, but before even that, if I just have this here, logger.info, logger, okay, now it's gonna be alright. So I need it from there. Once I have it, so we have info server running is on this particular port. Now if I want to make it even better, even this simple thing is fine, but if I actually go to okay, we have combined .log here, and we have error.log. We don't have any error.log. Okay, let me just delete it right now, delete both of them, and now it's time to configure it even better. So the next configuration is gonna be like both of them are gonna be inside logs folder, and they're definitely gonna be. So now if I run this, So a log folder is gonna be created and combined in here there. So it makes sense as well, but this is not what I want. What I want that these logs should be saved day by day. So on the base, depending on which day that is, they should be separated, formatted. In that case, I'm gonna be using something called. But even before that, let's use this JSON here. So label info message server, this it looks like that, not really bad anyway. Okay, so apart from this particular thing, npm install Winston daily rotate file. I hope this is the name. Let's simply run it. Yeah, that's the name. So what it's gonna do that if I go here, Winston daily rotate file, coming back to this one, it will give me transports, this one. So what am I gonna do? I will have two more transports, new Winston dot transports transports dot daily rotate, but we don't really have it. So first of all, we'll import it. Import daily rotate file from Winston daily rotate file. Once it is here, I'm gonna just simply use it here, daily rotate file, and just inside this I'll configure it. So label is gonna be info, and file name, this is gonna be the combined one, or we can keep the label error as well. The first one is gonna be the error, and the file name is gonna be logs slash probably errors slash error, and then the date name percentage date percentage date percentage, and dot log. So this is how it's gonna be formatted. Date pattern, what should be the pattern of the date? So that's gonna be y. I'm gonna just simply go with that only. month, then date, come on, then date, and then hour. And apart from this particular thing, zipped archive, I don't know what it does, but we'll see. Let's keep it true for now. And max size, that's gonna be 20 M. Does it mean megabyte? We'll see. Max files, that's gonna be 14 days. Now this max size and max files, like I think it contains max files of 14 days. After that it deletes automatically, if I'm not wrong. So we will be going through these things because we don't have to separate the logs forever, right? So that makes sense as well. But before even that, let me just have a better format here. So in that case, if I go to Winston, search format here, combine the format. So this is how we combine the format, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So instead of having it like this, I'm gonna get combine. And as for the combine, so import, I need combine here, I need a timestamp here, I need a label here, and pretty print, don't really need it anyway. What else? If needed, I will get it. Format. Having said that, this format comes from Winston. So what is the problem? All imports in import declared are unused, but this format is misbehaving. I think this needs to be inside create logger. No, it needs to be outside only. Then oh sorry, const. This is how it should be. So we've got format over here, and after that even I can say that instead of writing winston.create logger, we are gonna get formats from here. We are gonna get create logger, and not only that, we are gonna be getting transports as well, actually transports. So in that case, wherever I have Winston, I can get rid of that. Okay, and coming back to this, we have to combine. So combine, what do we want here? So it should not have any label, but it should definitely have timestamp. So timestamp is gonna be there, and what else? Let's go with the printf here. So ultimately we need to have a format here, right? That's gonna be printf. So we'll have timestamp and printf, that actually comes from where? Format itself. Printf, that comes from format itself, and this is how we are gonna be going ahead. And inside this, I'll get the label, I'll get message, label as well, and timestamp as well, and that's just simply gonna return some string. Now what that string is gonna be depends, but instead of returning this string like this, even this is possible, that I can just simply return this whole string. So first of all, we'll have timestamp, then we'll have label, and all these things probably we can have dot meta. So at the end we can have metadata, or probably call it data, doesn't really matter. Let's have meta, and once I have this metadata, that's metadata is gonna be added as well. Meta, and that is it. Let's try this thing out exactly how it looks like. Before even that, let's have some metadata here. So that's gonna be oh, probably day. That's gonna be Monday. I mean, even if it's not, doesn't really matter. So we have day, that's the metadata, info, message, all these things. And apart from this particular thing, if I actually go here, so inside logs we have error logs, and turns out, and we have combined logs, we have error log. Okay, I haven't really configured this. This first thing is done, but we need to have one more here, that is for the combined messages. So second one is gonna be label, is gonna be actually info, and we could have kept the label here as well. It will get everything above this label and including this label. Logs combined, this is just the folder name, and the second one is the file name. So that's gonna be combined, and the date name, and that is it. Overall things are fine. Now if I actually delete this logs folder and just simply run npm run dev, so let's check the logs out. So inside logs we have combine.log that got created. We do not have one thing here, that is something is undefined. Whatever we have, that's not in the JSON format. That is right. So we need to fix this. first of all, something is undefined. Timestamp is here, label is undefined because we haven't provided the label over here. So let's get rid of the label. We need to have label and message and metadata, and probably metadata is gonna be this is fine actually for the metadata. And apart from this particular thing, as for this label, of course I can remove it from here. Timestamp is not enough. Label was undefined. Let's see. So if I go to combined, so info server running, this is how it looks like, and then we have object. That simply means I'll have to make this in the JSON format. And how can I do that? Probably we can have this JSON here, and this JSON can be again imported. As for this label, we don't really need this. That's it. So if I actually go to combine logs, well, it doesn't seem to be working. So format.splat and simple. The log method provided the string interpretation you use. Format it is mainly for string interpolation. Something seems to be missing. What is that? I have no idea. Just a sec. Format is gonna be combined. That's gonna be like this, and then that's gonna be a transport. Winston.format.json. So if I'm actually getting JSON from there, and in using JSON inside this, then it should be fine. We can even specify the format there, that's fine. Let's try it one more time, otherwise I'll have a look at my notes or the written code. They should anyhow be fine. Winston.format.json. But it doesn't seem to be. Logs combined, it still looks like that. Now I have another way, that is instead of returning this, oh come on, I'm returning a string, so that's always gonna be a string. Sorry, that's obvious. So const format is gonna be print format. That's gonna be what? First of all, I'll have my label, then message in, I can say timestamp message dot meta. That's a better thing. Once I have this, return json.stringify and print format. Let's try this thing. Now it is coming in that format, the way I wanted it to be. Even we have day Monday at the end. Day Monday doesn't seem to be good, so we have to make it metadata. That is sort of metadata itself. Alrighty, so yeah, we've done it, and let's take some reference from here as well. So that's gonna be logger config. That is the output level message timestamp correlation ID. We will do add it later, and we have to mention this thing in here. So yeah, that's right, we have to mention that. And apart from this particular thing, the timestamp is gonna be there, JSON is gonna be there, printf is gonna be there. So in our case, overall things are fine. Even JSON is here. If we just remove this JSON, then what will happen? Suppose I have removed this. In that case, npm run dev, what will it give me? At the end, it still returns this only, and that's fine. Alrighty, so we have configured this well. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. So this particular thing is done. We have the transports, we configured this as well. So yeah, overall things are right. Let's talk about this correlation ID, exactly how we are gonna be implementing this. Even we need to have a middleware in that case, and that is going to be a test correlation ID middleware. And when it comes to middleware, so correlation middleware.ts I have created here as well. The same thing I have to do over here. So coming back to this, the next thing that we are gonna be going with, that is adding a correlation ID with the request. Async node async storage, this one context tracking storage. So over here, what can I actually do that? First of all, we need to get async local storage from node async hooks, and let me go to ESM version, and once I've got that, then I have to continue, and we even have to initialize this. So this is sort of gonna be configuration for that. So I can say correlation.ts, that's gonna be the configuration, isn't that? So if I come back to the config section, so let me take the help of AI here. Where should I keep it and export? What's the right folder? Where should I keep it and export in Node.js server? Async should generally be created once for your entire application. Yeah, that is right. So a common structure can be request context.ts or utils async local storage.ts. So async local storage.ts, in here I can keep it, and there's gonna be the type for that, and then I can just simply import it from async. That's right. So this is sort of an utility. Okay, let's keep it inside utility, and that's gonna be async local storage.ts. Async local storage.ts, and this is where I'm gonna have that export and paste it here. As for this async resource, I don't think I need it, so let me just simply remove it from here. We have this async local storage. It is created once for the entire application, and now the next thing that is using this. As for the AI, what was the right place? Then we have to create a request context.ts. Request context. In this case, this was correlation. Let's go to middleware, and this is gonna be request context.ts. Is that so? I don't even know whether this is a good name. Let's name it correlation id middleware. Let me ask AI regarding this, whether this is right name or not. Correlation id middleware, is this okay? Yes, but it depends on what the file contains. If the file responsible for creating correlation id is storing it inside this, then correlation id then is reasonable name. That's right. And however, I would not put a async local storage instance itself inside the file you plan to use throughout the application. So context request context async local storage instance. So this is gonna be the instance over here. That's fine. Context will have this, and correlation id will be names are commonly used. This async local storage.ts. For the middleware, the names can be this. Alrighty, and I'm supposed to be keeping it inside context. That's fine as well, not really a big deal. So just a sec. In that case, I can just simply use context here. Alright, then I hope I'm audible right now. Some people just came nearby, so I have to just simply turn my mic off. Hopefully that's fine. And export const, that's gonna be attach, or it could be request context middleware. Okay, attach relation id, and that's gonna be how will it be? Response is from next or this once we have the code. we will need to have the what need to create the correlation ID. In that case npm install uuid अरे भाई नहीं npm install uuid, so we can just simply import it here as well. Import v4 as uuid v4 from uuid const id is gonna be equals to uuid v4. Once we have it, async storage local storage dot run store unknown callback. First one will have the id, second one will have the callback, and the callback will do what? Anything inside this should be able to use this particular id. So this is how it's gonna be going on. Now using this we can just simply call it anytime. So async local storage get store, I'm just simply gonna be getting the id. Now the question is request, this should be response from express, and this should be next function. Alrighty, this much we have done, and it is already forwarded, so everything comes just under that. And we need to have a utility function. Where should I keep it? Like whenever we get that, so let's take the help of AI here again. We have to keep this part. Best place to keep this get should usually not be scattered throughout your code base. So a better pattern is to create a helper function inside your request context and module source context request context. So here we have the request context, and from here get user id, get correlation id, get request context. That makes sense. Anyway, let's go with this. So ultimately the context that I have created, request context, over here I have this async local storage, and once I have this, then we can export a function, export const get correlation id. Wherever we need this, we are just simply gonna be using this, and I'm gonna be returning async local storage dot get store and dot correlation id. Okay, let's have this correlation id. In that case, I'll have to make few changes here. This one is actually gonna be correlation id, and that's gonna be equals to the id. Now this is fine. What is the problem here? Type is unknown. In that case, let's create the type as well here. Request context. Okay. Interface request context. It will have correlation id, and that's gonna be nothing but string, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to use it here. Request context still problematic. Alright, it is possibly undefined. In that case, this is gonna be fine. Alrighty, so we have done it, and now whenever we call get correlation id, we should be able to get the correlation id. The question is, where do we need to call it? we need to call it inside logger. So here we need to have label, timestamp, message and all. Just below this I'm gonna have one more thing, and that is id, and that's gonna be get correlation id. That is it. Now what will happen, that if I just simply say ls remove rf logs ls npm run dev, alrighty, and if I go here logs combined, so we have info, label, timestamp, message, and this. We don't have the id yet. Why? id is gonna be this get correlation id. It just simply returns the correlation id, and inside the middleware that I had over here, I added this correlation id. What is the problem? This is how it's gonna be done. Okay, so whatever we pass here, that becomes the store. So if I'm passing the id, that will be the id. If I'm passing an object, so I should be getting an object, as simple as that. So I'm passing an object, so at the end of the day I'm gonna get an object there, and once we get the object, this get correlation id comes from there only. It shouldn't be problematic. Combined, the second one has the same info. That means it doesn't seem to be having correlation id for some reason. Alright, so in that case still not there. This way I get it there. That simply means that, come on, this should be fine, but if I'm not getting that, in that case this get correlation id does not work. So async local storage get store and correlation id. Okay, the question is why doesn't it work? Server.ts we have, and oh, we are not using it. Come on, app.use correlation, attach correlation id middleware. This is gonna be attached like this, attach correlation id. Now it should be fine. So if I come back here, attach correlation id, ls next to, so whatever comes after this should be fine. In that case if I'm actually trying to access it here, this should also be fine. Let me give it one more try. Delete list, delete locks, and turns out I'm not getting it for some reason. Why? So even ID is gonna be enough that if it actually works. Get correlation ID comes from here. Alright everybody, here I'm audible again. Because of some reasons I have to keep myself muted for a while. And as for this ID, we are definitely getting it here. That simply means it is accessible in here. So the question is, if it is actually accessible in here, so when I'm using logger, so why am I not able to use inside the logger? And if I just log something here, logger.info, ID is available for only this one. In that case, npm and dev, and whenever a request is made from the front end side, this and combined log, we are getting the ID in here. Okay, so it turns out that the ID is only accessible in the request. So if you use the logger here, the ID is not gonna be accessible, but if you use logger here, that's gonna be accessible, and that is right. This particular logger doesn't belong to any request, hence you cannot use the ID, you cannot get the ID here, but this part does belong to a request, and hence you are gonna be getting the ID, and every time when you send a request, the ID is gonna be different, so it just simply keeps changing. So this is how it just simply goes on. Oh, seriously, I've been stuck in this. Anyway, something new we ended up learning, and as for this particular thing, I'm gonna be just removing it for now. This is fine, and yeah, get rid of this as well. Now one more thing, app.use express.json. I'm gonna have some routes here, so app.use, and routes is gonna be what, slash API slash v1 router version 1, or probably version 1 router. What is the name in the previous one? v1 router, that's the name gonna be here. And app.use, in case if I have more versions in future, so this is gonna be version 2, so that's gonna be v2 router. As simple as that. As for right now, I'm commenting both of them, and later we'll see how we can just simply handle this. And app.use error handler, so we are even gonna be having a error handler here. So these are the things, and now close everything, come back to the source, and we are gonna be going to probably controllers. Yeah, it's good to go here, and we'll have health.controller.ts, and in here let's just return the response directly. So exposed const get health request, and that's gonna request a response, that's gonna be response, and next, we don't really need next here, so that's fine. We might need it. Let's have this next here. As for right now, next function, I'm gonna use a try catch block, though that's not needed, but okay, let's go ahead. And response dot send, oh, that's gonna be status 200 dot json message success true message. Okay, and or everything up and running. Coming back to this one, if we get any error, we are just simply gonna be passing this error. So this is how it's gonna be going on. Again, we even need to have an error handler. We can even create a specific error type, that if we get this kind of error, we are gonna be sending this. That's something gonna be done later, that's not really a big problem. Even we are gonna be focusing on that. But once this is done, health controller, so if I go to routers, again there are gonna be two types of routers here, version 1 and version 2. I'm gonna be going with version 1 for now. And what, index.ts here, and in here const router is gonna be router from express, export default router, router.use, if that is slash health, everything related to that will go here. Now I need to have another router, health.router.ts, and const router is gonna be equals to router export default router, and router dot get slash get health, just like this. Coming back to this one, this should be health router, and it should be imported from healthrouter.js and server.ts. Let's come back here. We are gonna have version 1 router, hence import v1 router from router slash v1 slash index.js. Alrighty, so if I go here, I'm returned here, I'm back here, then the main router get request returns this. We even need to create a middleware that's gonna be either handler.ts, either handler middleware.ts. So export const, let's make it a simpler one, either handler request that's gonna be from here, response that's gonna be from here. Next, we don't really need next, but we definitely need either. That's gonna be type either. As for right now, any kind of here can be there, and we are not customizing it, we'll work on it later. And what is the next thing that we can do? We've done this much. If error dot status, let's do one thing, response dot status, and error dot, these are the things that we have. Error doesn't have any status code. In that case, we are not throwing any specific error, that's just the default error, right? So in that case, that will definitely not have. So yeah, let's do one thing. I mean, that's gonna be for 500 what 500 dot json success is gonna be false. We can definitely work on it and make it better, but error dot message, I mean, this is enough for now. Later we'll make it better for sure. The main focus is not on this, that is on implementing a SQLized database, ORM. We haven't even worked on that at all. So this is done, imported. So overall things are working. Let's try this thing out. So if I actually make a request to slash health, actually API slash v1 slash health, this is what we are getting. Great job. Okay, what is the next thing? The next thing is that using SQLized database. SQLize, here it is. We have to just simply learn this. I have the overall idea, but it's not as simple as it looks, so we'll have to configure a lot of things here. Alrighty, with this particular thing, here we have this fine, this is fine. Okay, both things are connected to each other. Yeah. So as for this particular thing, I'm gonna be working on it very soon. I'm just gonna take a break for a while. How long has it been? It's been 1 hour, just 1 hour literally. I thought I had been working for a long time. Never mind, let's keep working on this. So we have to implement this, and Prisma is easy to implement. In Prisma, what do you have to do? You have to create models, not models, kind of schema. So create this schema. I can't even write properly. So we just simply write this schema. Once this schema is written, we migrate. Once we migrate, database gets created. So DB gets created, and after that, what do? We use a Prisma client. Using that Prisma client, we just simply we query the database. As simple as that. So Prisma is pretty simple to implement, and if you actually wanna implement Prisma ORM, so ORM, so you can just simply go through it. You will even get the proper documentation there. So I don't have any problem implementing Prisma, but Prisma is not the goal anyway. Sequelize ORM is the goal. So coming back to this, they are just simply, I do have some notes and all, so this is what I have with me, and on the basis of these commands I'm gonna just get it done. So first of all, of course, we have to install MySQL2. I already have Postgres anyway. Just a sec. ls docker desktop start. God knows what's gonna happen. This is the first time that I'm actually trying trying to use Sequelize database. It is actually complex one. At least that's what I thought initially. But let's see. Docker process status. Docker PSA. So I have my MongoDB database running here. I have my Postgres database running here. I don't have SQL. I do have my SQL workbench, but I don't have SQL database running here. So we can run SQL as well. So docker run. Port mapping is gonna be, I forgot the port mapping of SQL, and okay, forget about that, we'll see. Then let's make a search. Run MySQL2 on Docker, as simple as that. Okay. Running MySQL database with Docker. Okay, yeah. So they are giving me this configuration 3306. That's the port number, right? Isn't this? I'm gonna go with we can create this file. What is this file called? I forgot the name even. This file is called something. What something? YAML file, but what is the name of this? I literally forgot the name of this file. What is this called? Yeah, docker.compose.ml. That's already written there. So we can go with this directly, that we can copy the whole configuration here. Then docker.compose.up. So either you manually write the configuration over here or create a compose file. Let's create a compose file. If you want to write it directly, in that case, docker run. What is the port number? The port number is 3306. So 3306 colon 3306. This is the port mapping. What we wanna run? We wanna run MySQL. So what is gonna be the name? It's gonna be MySQLDB. So MySQLDB is the name. That depends on you what you name it. Better have environment variables. Do we need to have MySQL root password? We need to have. So environment variable is gonna be first MySQL root password, and that's gonna be, suppose what is this gonna be? MySQL 1234 or 3241. Hopefully I'm gonna remember this. And what else? Do we need to have anything else? We can have the database name. So database will automatically be created, probably. I'm not well aware of this, but hopefully the database is gonna be created. Just the database rows are not gonna be there. And that is it. We can have volume. So volume is so that we do not lose the data. So MySQL data, what's that? MySQL data is gonna be attached to, what will it be attached to? That's gonna be where lib MySQL, where /lib/MySQL. Well, I don't remember, so I just directly take the help of Google and just write the whole configuration again. MySQL. Hopefully, let me make another Google search. MySQL on Docker, because right now I just got a Docker compose file, and use centralized containerized database. Coming back to this, here is the command that I was trying to write. So docker run, we are gonna be, name is gonna be mysql root password, you can give it any. Then mysql database, you can provide the database name and that will automatically be created, such a good thing. And then you have to run mysql, and even you can provide the volume over here. So if you search volume, so yeah, volume, here it is. So the volume, for providing the volume, this should be the location. This name can be anything because this will be stored on your docker side. /where/lib, this should be specific, and in our case we have done everything, docker name and all. We can even specify this database name over here. So mysql database, this is the only thing that's remaining in our case. So docker run, port mapping is done, name is done, environment variable is done, mysql data, this is also done. One thing if we want we can have, that is giving it the this what is called the database name by default. So what is, how can we give it? MySQL database, and that's gonna be, what are we working on? TestDB. So this is gonna be TestDB. I think that should be fine. So this is one of the first ways that you can just simply go with, and if I run this it will definitely start. So let's do it. Well, I do not have the image, so it will first of all get the image from, of course, Docker Hub, and then it will start that. Hopefully it's not going to take a lot of time. Meanwhile, let's do one thing. It's been a long time even having worked with the compose file. So that's going to be docker compose.ml. I hope that's how it's written, and this is the one. So version is, I don't think version is required anymore right now. You just need to have services. What is the service? I have MySQL service. This is actually the name. What is the image? Container name. Okay, MySQL is the service actually. Container name, environment variable, port number, volumes, and which volume it depends on. MySQL data. Let's do it. So first of all, services. Okay, what is the service? That's gonna be MySQL. And what do we have to have next? That's gonna be image. What is the image? MySQL latest is the image. Or container name. Yeah, definitely we need to have that container name, and that's gonna be what? Okay, MySQL DB. And ports. What are gonna be the ports? 3306 colon 3306. And what else? Environment variables. So environment variables. So first one is gonna be, I forgot. What is the environment variable? MySQL root password. Yeah. So MySQL root password value is gonna be MySQL and 3241, as simple as that. And we can have one more, and that's gonna be MySQL database. So database is automatically gonna be created because of this particular environment variable. That's gonna be TestDB in our case. And what else? We'll have volume here, so volumes. And when it comes to volume, so MySQL data, it will be what? It will be referenced, or it will be kind of referenced to what? Where, kind of connected to where /lib/MySQL. Hopefully that's right. That's right. And at the end of the day, this whole thing depends on what? This whole thing depends on this particular volume, MySQL data. So what happens that until unless this particular volume is created, this particular section is not gonna run. But there's some, I need colon here at the end. Great. And this is how it should be. So first of all, this volume will be created because the whole thing depends on it. And once this is done, then the entire process is gonna run. So volumes. Let's do one thing first of all. Docker process status. Well, wow, something went wrong. What went wrong? Come on. Okay. docker psa. So this MySQL is started and then exited. That simply means there is something wrong with the code. I can okay, docker kill, and not even kill, docker remove and MySQL db rm. Should it work? Yeah, it worked. So docker now that's not there. What's wrong with the command that we wrote earlier? Yeah, this was the one. Let me just simply copy it from here and come on, already write it here. So first of all we have docker run, the name is gonna be my environment variable. This column was there, MySQL root password, and this, everything else is fine. Cut, paste it again and run it. So right now if I say docker process status, we have it running and it is running on this 3306 port inside the container, as well as it is exposed to the same port, hence we should be able to connect. Now when it comes to connecting, so I have MySQL workbench. So let's try to connect to the database that we have created. So MySQL connection name can be anything, tested connection or MySQL connection. Okay, this username is what? Username is root. What is the password? So the password is MySQL3241. I hope that's the what I entered. Any problem? No problem. Can I try connecting? Test connection. Continue anyway. Successfully made the SQL connection, great job. Let's just simply say okay. I think okay. So we have made the connection. Incompatible, continue anyway. So here we are, the connection is ready. Once the connection is ready, that simply means schema, we already have this test DB here. So this test DB was automatically created. Now use test DB. If I run this, in that case should I wrap it? Test DB not working. So test DB not working. So test DB, now seems to be working. I think everything, I ran this command, there is a problem. Query completed. Probably I'm able to use this. Let me do one thing. Create table. I create table in SQL. Again, these tables and all, they are automatically gonna be created. We'll have to just simply write the command. But let's try to create one. Create table test or user, and I hope that's how it's written. Come on, I'm really bad at this. Yeah, we need to have the data type and constant. So probably just like this. And here we have username, and that's gonna be varchar. Anything else? Constant data type we've already given it. So varchar 255, just give it. That's it. The job is done. 255, and now we should be able to create. Probably we can have a password, username, and password as well. Varchar 255. Just like this, the job should be done. Let's see. Okay, try to run this much. We need to have colon at the end, otherwise it's gonna be problematic. Just like this. And now if I select this and run this, Come on. Tables, don't have any table at all. How does it work? Even when I run there, I'm not even getting any. Missing something. Okay. Oh, this table got created. The problem is that even the user table got created, I have the username and password, so everything is going right. The only thing is that I'm not getting connection warning not supported. Something is wrong with this. We have this schema. Never mind, ultimately it's created. That simply means if I try to do what, select everything from, I hope that's actually being used first of all. So we'll have to use what, we'll have to use test db first of all, just like this. So let's just simply start using that. Once we are using this, it is merely because of the connection, if I'm not wrong, we'll fix it later. Select everything from user. So yeah, we are getting this username and password over here, though there are not any values, but we are getting these two fields here. The only problem is that this is just showing some kind of connection. Even we can insert the values, right? So insert into user, and how do we insert? SQL insert into command, SQL insert into command, insert into table name, and then this. Okay, fine. So username and password, values are, let's have the value just below. Values are gonna be probably unstoppable. Password is gonna be 1234, just like this, and that is it. Now if I just select this much and if I run it, they are inserted, and if I try to get, I'm getting it here. So the username is unstoppable. This is that. Okay, so we have created the database and it is even working, but this was not the goal. The goal was to create it using this docker compose ml file. Great, sir. So docker process status, we have it. Docker kill, I'm gonna be killing it, and compose v docker kill, it's gonna be killed. Docker ps, no one is there. This is still here, so I have to remove it from here. So docker remove my SQL DB. Now it's not there anymore. We have Redis, we have MongoDB, we have Postgres. Never mind. It's time to create it using this. So what am I gonna do? ls, we have docker compose ml file already there. So docker compose up, I think this is the command, and here we are, it's running. Detach the mode. So docker process status, the same database has been created again. That is such a good thing. And if I say docker compose down, it will be down. So docker process status, so we will not have to write the same same commands over and over to just make it up and down. And as for that, one more thing, will this work? Let me see. Docker compose up. Yeah, earlier this command used to work, but right now it does not work. So you better keep that thing in mind. So if you write docker compose up, it will work, but if you say docker compose up, it will not work. So docker compose up. In detached mode you can just simply run it. It has started. D stands for detached mode, that simply means it will not show you the logs and all. And docker process status, it's running. Now coming back to this SQL workbench, let me just simply refresh it all. And am I connected to the same database or not? Let me create an yarn here. If I go to the session, not session, this particular section, if I just simply refresh it, tables are here. There's nothing inside the table because this is altogether a new database. So I can just simply start using it and it will just simply work. So use at least a testdb, this command I can run. Okay, if I just simply run this, it just simply starts using it. How can I be sure that it is using that? So I don't know, how can we describe the database? Show db, SQL db, SQL show command, show database. Yeah. So show database. What will it do? Let's see what it does. So it just simply shows the databases. It just simply tells me that I have testdb over here, I have sys, and these things were already there. Testdb is something that got created automatically, and even we can create a database. How can we create a database? We can create a database running use hotel, just like this. So hopefully hotel db is gonna be created. Now if I run this command again, so we don't have hotel. How do we create a database? Create database. I don't know. These commands I've never used. Like I've used them, but I never bothered about memorizing them. Create a DB in SQL. Create database. Yeah. So create database. That's gonna be hotel. And if I just simply run this command, database is created. Run this. This database is here. So ultimately, yeah, this is how you can create more databases. If you just simply refresh it, hotel is also gonna be here, and just below this you will have its own properties and all. As simple as that. Let's continue with that. This was all about SQL. Right now we even have SQL. Even we can go with PostgreSQL, and I think we should try for both. Docker process status, actually PS. We even have PostgreSQL. We can even start this particular database. Actually PostgreSDB. So Docker start PostgreSDB. It was already created, so I had it beforehand, and this is the Postgres. Let me keep them side by side, and I'd like to pin this one as well. That's already pinned. So this is PostgreSDB. Sort of they look the same, but I think PG is a bit advanced. I don't know. It looks a bit advanced though. Because it's easier to just simply go through the stuff here, but ultimately both of them have their own. I cannot comment on this. They have their own benefits and all. Coming back to this, we can create a testdb here, but okay, that can be done later. But yeah, we have these things here. Let me check one thing. Stop, because okay, CPU is not really being consumed much, just the RAM is around 12 point something. I was scared of this thing because the last time it was too bad. Anyway, Control C. Let's get rid of this. Coming back to this one, so we have both of them running. The next thing is that close everything, and the question is, how can we so many things are here. Prisma console, we are not gonna use Prisma, so let's get rid of this. Yeah, let's focus on this one. So install dependencies, it is just simply telling me that SQLize SQLite 3, just simply install it. After that, new SQLize SQLite memory, I don't know whether it's gonna work because it is using user directly here. Before that we have to define models, so it is actually defining the models. Okay, so it is defining the models over here. It is defining the model to connect to the database, and persist and query. So using the model we can just simply call, that's good. But before that we'll have to migrate, and just this much is not enough. So click on getting started. First of all, it is saying that bro install npm this, so let's do that. Follow, what else? That's what we can do. ls this npm install sequelize save. Okay, that's fine. Then it is saying that install these databases. So we have already installed, and we haven't installed mysql 2. Do we need to? My note, yeah, npm install sequelize, and you need to install mysql 2. So the thing is that if you want to connect to MySQL database, you need to have MySQL 2. Let me ask ChatGPT. Here it is. Why is that? So that if I needed to connect to MySQL DB, then I need to install MySQL 2, because Node.js does not include MySQL driver by default. So when you write MySQL 2, you are importing packages that knows how to that's right. Why MySQL 2 specifically? There is an older version called MySQL, a newer one that's gonna be MySQL 2. So MySQL 2 is generally preferred. Okay, good job anyway. And using MySQL we can directly connect to the database. So even this way you can connect to the database. Using MySQL you can write the normal queries. This is the easiest way. You can connect to the database, you can write the queries, you can get the rows, you can just simply do whatever you want to do with those rows. And then why doesn't Prisma need MySQL? Prisma already contains database connectors internally. Okay, we do not install Prisma, we do get PG anyway. Prisma talks to its own query engine, and the query engine talks to MySQL, so don't directly install MySQL 2. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's continue. So coming back to this, we need to install this MySQL 2 as well. So npm install MySQL 2, that's gonna be installed as well. Connecting to a database, it is directly telling me that now bro you have to connect to the database, but in the database I do not have what? I do not have schema. There's nothing in my database. So in that case, first of all I need to create a database for that, and then of course we can authenticate, and then the job is gonna be done. Pretty not bad actually. I thought it would be too bad, but coming back to this, the thing is that if you actually have a look in my database right now, the one that I have created, this SQL one, so here I have test DB, I have hotel DB, but at the end there's nothing in them, right? So first of all we'll somehow have to create a database. That database should have tables, those tables should have schema, I mean everything should be configured, right? And for that thing we are gonna be using sequelize CLI. What it does something, definitely it does something, but ultimately what it does, that is helps you create the database for you. Let's see. npm install, first of all we have to install this sequelize. So let's just simply copy paste. You can connect to the database only when the database exists. If the database does not exist, forget about connecting to that. At least that's what I think right now. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. Project bootstrapping, so you have to run npx sequelize CLI init. What will it do? To भाई थोड़ा zoom in कर लेते हैं. And now let's go ahead. So install CLI. To install sequelize CLI, do this. And after that, project bootstrapping. Okay, to create an empty project you will need to execute init command. So what it will do, it will create an empty project. What is that empty project? It will create config, it will create models, it will create migrations, it will create seeders. These are the folders, and there are gonna be some files in them. Okay, that's good. So if you actually have a look here, over here I have config. So config is already there. Context, controllers, DB, middleware, repositories, routers, services, utils, and validators. That's it. Now if I run that command, this one, npx sequelize CLI init. Let's see what it does. So it has successfully created what it has. My bad, I should have run that inside the which folder, inside source folder. Let's delete seeders, deleting them. cd src ls, run the same command again. So we have this config was already there, so we've got extra file here, config.json. What is this config.json? Over here we are specifying username, password, database, blah blah blah. Okay, that seems to be good, but later we'll have to convert it to a ts file. Why, we'll see. And apart from this particular thing, we got models here. Models has this data. This is the model. Have a look at this. I myself not understand anything, so never mind, we'll remove it. And migrations, there's nothing in the migration, and that's what we have to do. We have to create migration so that we can migrate and database can be created, as simple as that. And even we got this seeders folder. Seeders is mainly for seeding the data that we do not have yet, so no worries. Okay, this much we've done, but it would be better to have models, have seeders, and have what, migrations inside a db folder, inside this particular db folder. I want it to, everything related to db should be inside db folder. Hence, what am I gonna do? I should do something, but what? If I'm not wrong, last time when I worked with this, of course, when the instructor taught me this, there was a file where we could change the path, and I can't see that file yet. Okay, let's continue. So configuration, before continuing further, we will need to tell the CLI how to connect to the database. To do that, let's open the default. This looks something like this. Okay, note that CLI assumes MySQL by default. If you are using another dialect in the sense sort of the ORM or something, database, then you can just change that. And now edit this file and set the correct database credentials and dialect. The keys of the objects development are used on models.ingest or matching procedure. This when undefined development is a default value. So development is a default value. Okay, fine. Sequelize will use the default connection port for each dialect. That simply means you will have to specify everything here. Right. Okay, never mind. Then if your database doesn't exist yet, you can just call db create command with a proper exit. It will create the database for you. Yeah, that's what we want. So npx sequelize CLI model generate name this attribute this lag koina. Let's have a look at the commands that I have. What is the next thing? We have done this much. We've even initialized. Now we have to create a migration file. Why do we need to create a migration file? So that we can create the migration schema. So the next command is npx sequelize CLI migration generate. This is the command. Name can be anything, depends on exactly what you wanna name. And the same thing is mentioned here. What is mentioned here? That is migrations. Create the first of all, database already exists. I don't think it does exist. So if your database doesn't exist yet, you can just call db create command with proper access. Okay, I don't know how this is called, but in our case, to be honest, we don't have the database yet. Or let's use the test database that we had. That would be better. Yeah. So the database, this is the one that we have, and there's nothing inside the database. So select it even doesn't exist database. We have test DB and there's nothing inside that. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? That npx sequelize CLI model generate. So it is gonna generate the model. I don't want this, or do I? Yeah, I should generate the migration, it should not generate the model. So we have to first of all generate it. So time to generate the migration, this command, it is just simply telling me that bro, generate the model. That is okay, it is actually good stuff. Like it will, the name is gonna be user model, attributes are gonna be first name string, last name string, email string, so it will automatically generate that. Good stuff. I would like to run this command, so ultimately model is gonna be created, and let's see what happens. That's bad. Lamp. Literally I'm so bad at this, never mind. Let's just simply copy this much, copied, paste it here, pasted. Models, they've been generated, so we've got user. What a good thing, we did not have to generate the model, it got automatically generated. Okay, that's good. Anyway, we'll see how this model related stuff works, but before that we need to create migration, so that using the migration I can actually, even migration has been created. What the hell, unexpectedly amazing. I was worried about this, I thought I'll have to create migrations and then I'll have to create the user model separately, but it turns out that you do not need to worry about it at all. Rather, you have to run this command and specify create a model user in get migrations file with the name this in migrations folder. So the migration has also been created. Now you need migration for migrating the schema to the database. You need model so that you have a client, and using that client you can talk. As simple as that. We haven't changed anything as such yet. And SQLize will use models files. It's the table representation. On the other hand, migration file is a change in that model, or more specifically that table used by CLI. Treat migrations like commit and all. Okay, that's fine. Now what do we have to do? Writing a migration. The following skeleton shows a typical migration file. It has up, it has down. Coming back to this one, it has up. In up it just simply creates a table, in down it just simply drops the table. So whenever you run down it will remove the table, whenever you run up it will create the table. We can generate this file using migrations.generator. This will create the migration. Okay, this is, they are giving the command as well that you can generate the migration file from your side as well. So npx sqli cli and migration, and this is how it can be done. And now you can have the query over here. So query interface, create table, you can create the table, you can just simply drop the table. Makes sense. Lastly, what do we have to do? When we have this up, we have this down section, it just simply keeps going on and on. Do we have to just do all these things here? The next example, they are just examples, right? Running migrations, db migrate. This is the important step here, that if you say db migrate, your table is going to be created. Let's see if that can be. First of all, as this is the if I go to config here, this particular section, development mode, right? The root password is gonna be mysql3241. that's what I mentioned earlier. Database development, db is gonna be what? db is gonna be devdb. I mean, pretty simple, right? Okay, sorry, devdb. Post is gonna be this, direct is gonna be mysql. The job is done. I think this much should be enough for it. And once this is, so npx sqli cli db migrate. Let me just simply run this command and see what happens here. Well, not this one, yeah. I wanted to run this command. So what should happen ideally, that this migration should be migrated to the database, and in the database I should have a table like this. The first thing is that cannot find. Have you run SQLize init? It is unable to find that config file. Hence, I have to go to inside source. And now, if I run the same command, so it is saying that unknown database devdb. For sure, devdb does not exist. So either I create it or somehow it is. It told me earlier. It gave me a command that was if you do not if your database doesn't exist, you can just call db create command with proper access. It will create db create. But I think even if I want to create a db create, it will need this npx SQLize CLI db create, right? So npx SQLize CLI db colon create. Now I have to specify the name. The name is gonna be dev db, and I think that is it. Is that so? Not really proper. I need to get. Let's do one thing. Database and MySQL, and how can I create a database? Create. Nope. Create db, create SQLize instance, create a database base. So if you are using a database that is not currently supported by SQLize, okay, while integer create source context migrations database schema support the way to version, okay, to declare attributes not create a good next step. I think I'll have to take the help of AI here. Other topics, this is models and tables, this is databases. Let's go with this other databases. So where is this from? I can go to MySQL anyway, and of course using this is nothing but the model, if I'm not wrong. Okay, let's see. Turns out I'm not really getting that, so I can do one more thing. Help db create help. So it will give me the things that it supports. So it supports environment variables, config, URL, version help env, and the environment to run command in, the path, the config file, path to the config file. Yeah, that is a good step. Yeah, let's give it the path to the config file. So कहाँ गया भाई command? The previous command config, and the path to the config file is config/config.json. I hope that's the name, config/config.json. Will it work? God knows, but the path to the config file migration, the path to the migration, and this run it. And what is this? The database connection string to use alternative to config files. Yeah, okay, fine. Config.json, do it. Oh yeah, it worked. Database got created. So if I come back here, if I just do show database, now we have our devdb here. Great. Once we have devdb, we can just simply migrate the data. So for the migration, what was that? For migration, getting started. Once getting started, भाई किधर था मैं? I forgot where I was. SQLize CLI. So let's go here. I cannot get CLI directly. I'll have to make a search. sequelize CLI anyway, this is the one. And over here, what was the last command for migrating? The command for migration was this, and the migration example, right? That's right. But Control Shift C, let's just simply copy and paste. Come on, I should be able to copy it and I should be able to paste it. But the question is, what is the name of the migration? Migration example, that's just gonna be the name. Init, our first migration. Hopefully it will not be problematic. First FIR migration. Yeah. So what happened? It just created that. Sorry, this does not work. So ultimately, what is the job of this particular command? Come on, where is that? Migration generate. It generates the migration. So like if you wanna generate a migration file on your own, so you can generate it. We don't wanna generate it. Rather, we wanna do what? We wanna migrate it to the database. So this is not what we want. Probably we need to run up somehow. So how can we run that command? npx db migrate. Come on. So npx, I hope that's the one, sequelize db colon migrate. What is the problem? Module is not defined. ES not blah 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 JS. What is the problem? This TS. The file being created as an ES module because it has .js file extension and the media JSON contains type module. To treat it as common JavaScript, rename it to CJS. So this needs to be renamed as CJS. Okay, it worked. Okay, as it worked, then in my database side over here, if I say what? If I just simply refresh the page, I should be getting DB. Inside tables, I have sequelize metadata, I have users data. So if I say show databases and the database name is devdb, again this is not right. So in that case, dev colon db, this should be fine. Is done this fine? So what should I use? devdb show, forget about this. I think use devdb should be fine. Yeah, it is fine. If I run this, it starts getting used. Now if I say select everything from devdb, so these marks, quotation marks and all, they do not work. So you will have to go with this particular, I forgot the name, that's beside one, there's something, some name of this type of marks, but okay, never mind. This is, I just simply go, and if I just simply run this, select everything from devdb, not really, select everything from users. So here we are, we have the ID, we have the first name, we have the last name, we have the email, we have created it, and we have updated it. Okay, so these are the this is the table that we have got. Now the next thing is that this migration that you have here, this migration, ultimately this migration is mainly for migrating the data, migrating the tables or the schema to the database. It automatically got created initially But next time onwards, if you want to change the models, you'll have to change the models, and probably you'll have to change that as well. Process.env or the development. That's such a good thing that it gets the process.env that exists, otherwise it makes it development. Similarly, it gets the environment variables from the config file, so that's fine as well. Everything seems to be okay. Honestly, if I had the choice, I would use Prisma. Why would I be getting stuck with this much? But okay, it has its own benefits. But I'm not that much familiar, so it could be because of that. The last thing is that we have to use user what user model. We have to make request to the database. So in that case, what is the next thing that we can do? We can even run the six. So module.exports, we can just simply insert the values as well. That's okay, fine. Undoing seeds, all this stuff. So yeah, there's a lot. You can just simply read this and have better idea. The last thing that I'm gonna do here, that is making a call to the database, getting the result from there, and the job is done. That's what I wanted. That was the goal mainly of this one. So the question is you do not need to get this like this, so you need to have sequelize, but the thing is that how will you get that? To get the sequelize, you need to say new this and then dialect. When it comes to this model, so module exports, sequelize we have, data types we have, user model and associate models we haven't even, we do not have them. But user.init, first name, last name, email, and this we have here. Where can we import it from, or we can get it directly? So we have to just simply get a sequelize. After that we have to pass the URL here, example for SQLite. Okay, let's do it. Probably it's gonna work. Or I can go with the where is that model basics. We have the user model here. Once we where does this come from anyway? So we have the sequelize, define, we have to define user model, data types and all, that's okay. So ultimately user exists here, and this is mainly for SQLite. We can initialize this. Now core concepts, show me something that can help me. Okay, let's go ahead like this. So what am I gonna do now? This is the server.ts file. The first thing is that I'm gonna import sequelize, yeah, that's the name, from sequelize. Once I have that, then I have to get an instance of that. In that case, and hopefully it will ask for some, yeah. So probably after this const sequelize, that's gonna be equals to new sequelize, and we have to give it the options. What are those options going to be? We'll see. Turns out nothing. It's not asking for anything. Dialect is gonna be MySQL. Great stuff. What is the next thing? Storage, path to database SQLite. Okay, passing parameters separately, SQLite. Is there any example for MySQL? One of, okay, here it is. So sequelize database, username, password, host is gonna be, I think it will provide more options. Host, yeah, local host. Time to guess the things. After that, password. Password is gonna be, what is gonna be the password? That's gonna be mysql 3241 and db, so database. Yeah, that's great. So that's gonna be dev db. After that, what else? What else? What else? What else? To connect to a database, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. That is it, probably. And when it comes to connecting to the database, so we can call await sequelize authenticate, and it will just simply make me connected. Will it do that? To check that, let's make it a sync, and let's do it like this. Sequelize authenticate, it should be able to authenticate myself, and once it has authenticated, then I will see what to do next. And well, here we are. What is the problem? Using password, yes. Access denied for user, this. Why? Config JSON. We had used, okay, I have to provide the username, password, database, host, dialect. Those things are already provided. Probably root is missing. So root, or probably it's not missing. Username, root, and one more time. Wow, it worked. Executing default, select 1+1 as result. I think it worked. So we are somehow able to connect it to the database. Once we are connected to the database, so let's do one thing. Just right here I have a what, probably at the top, just to check. Or let's do one thing, let's make, yeah, let's check it first of all, then we'll do something later. So app.get slash we'll have to send the data anyway. App, what can we do? What can we do? Let's use get. This is not the right way, but get or data, that's gonna be equals to request response. Okay, what do we have to do here? We have to get the data from the database. What is the query type? That is something I'll have to figure out. So introduction, you need to have user. How can I get the user model? So the question is that, or really a good one, that bro, I do not have this user. So if I go to the user.this, I'm exporting what? I am exporting this. So ultimately user is returned, but the problem is that this is using this way, hence I have to make it export default, and probably this should be fine. And now will I be able to import it? User, no. Sequelize, lib sequelize. I think I need to import it anyhow, and that is of course right. So import user from where to go? Gotta go to which one? Models slash, no suggestions, index.js, or sorry, user.js. Now this user does not exist there, cannot find it. Interesting. user is here. Where this is this user coming from? User dot create. I can create it. That is amazing. So user is a class. It extends this. So if I'm able to export that class, using that I can just make calls, right? So over here, this is the class user, and even this is not right anyway. This should be import. So the thing is that I think by default it supports a CJS. It doesn't support ESM. So that's even problematic, but okay, never mind. Sequelize model should be from this. Hopefully this is gonna be fine, and once this is fine, we are already exporting this, so somehow, if I'm not wrong, it should be right. And even this is right. No, this is not right yet. So import user from model slash index dot sorry, not index dot, user dot js. Does it use sequelize? It does. So that's problematic in that case. What can I do? Just this much. Relative imports path need explicit extension when it is unable to get that. This is the last thing that is remaining, and not able to figure it out. Great. Even we have this index dot. Everything is being used like using that format only, and the same thing it was doing. So it was like this initially. Module dot export. So this was what I had, and when it comes to getting that, so import user from models slash index user dot js. It's gonna be wrong. So at the end it is simply sending me there, and now when returning the user, so that's the default one, so probably should be like this. User, it is returning that. In that case, what can I do? User returns, this is the function that just simply returns this. So ultimately the return type is exported. Model slash user dot. This seems to be fine. Hopefully ESM supports. Does ESM support CommonJS? Yes, it does support. So you can use this, and once we can use this, so you can even make a request, as simple as that. Now the question is, how can we make a request? That should be pretty much simple. So await user, that we actually got dot. Any suggestions? No suggestions as such. Amazing. So create name, and okay, let's create it. So user dot create, and user name that's gonna be username, that doesn't really matter. Password, that's gonna be password. And const user is actually gonna be this clg and user.to json. In the json format it will be converted. Okay, let's see. Congratulations, got the errors, and the thing is that it should be CGS. So it is simply saying that instead. So which file? Server dot. So I'll have to make a CGS. This is problematic. So exports, it works, but if I try to import it like this, then it doesn't. Anyway, if I try to run this, yeah, that does not exist. And to resolve this, if I go here and if I make it export default, still that does not exist. And to model from sequelize. Okay, here we are. Congratulations, stuck. Okay, import from this, and yes, it's not working. Any good way, any better way around this? Time to look at the previous code. Here we are. The same thing I tried to do here. We have models, we have index.js. This was here by default. Let's not worry about that. We have hotel. So it's actually being exported class hotel init export default. We are just simply exporting hotel by default. As for the sequelizer, it is coming from sequelize.js, and as for the sequelize.js, this is actually here. So this sequelize.js is nothing but what? This is nothing but the configuration. So this has sequelize.js at the end. So I'll have to configure it a little better in the sense it is not able to export it directly, and because of that thing this gets problematic. Hence what I'll do is to get rid of this and probably get rid of this. As for the sequelize, the question is where will I get it from? So sequelize, will it work directly or not? Models.user.s, that's not. So let me just simply export it, and apart from this particular thing, this user class, model slash still doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, sequelize.ts. Do we really need to have it here? Sequelize.ts, this is so ultimately whenever you want to connect to the database you need this sequelize. We already created it here, so I can just simply export it to check whether it can be used there or not, and inside then we don't even need to have it there, but okay, never mind. Sequelize was needed here, so we can directly call it. And if we try to import this sequelize here, dot slash server.ts, I mean that was the one. So once we have sequelize, that actually comes from there, so at least that can be used in here. And once that can be used, this error doesn't go away. Okay, let me see. Airbnb dist models user.js. What is the problem? Cannot find which module. It is unable to find. Oh, that was the same thing. So just unable to find that for some reason. How can we resolve this thing? That's the thing. We are exporting it from here, and export default, and what else, user. And coming back to this one, I should be getting it by default here, so there should be user. Bro, if I'm actually exporting it from there, why are not getting exported? So models and this, I'm exporting it. Literally source models user implicitly has an any type. Forget about having an any type, at least let that be exported. Okay, if I did not have this, and if I were exporting user is gonna be equals to suppose this by default, then पागल हो गया क्या ये? It's just giving me the same error over and over. Export this default. Models slash the last time when I got it, I'll make it work. That's the only way I have. Sequelize authenticator, and then when it comes to using that, not health router, probably hotel router, or create hotel, and this is the repository. So hotel.create, hotel is coming from where? It is coming from db.models.hotel.js, and in here this is nothing but a class that extends model hotel init. This has all this thing, and it's just simply exporting that, so it works here. Helper method defines association. This method is not a part of equalized life cycle. The models index file will call this method automatically. Model/index. No way. Time to take the help of AI probably. I'm gonna be stuck in this way. We are able to talk to that like database. We are just not able to get the user. So the first issue is that I'm using ESM. I should be using CommonJS. Second is TypeScript. TypeScript is not really a big problem. The main thing is that I'm using ESM instead of using CommonJS. So if I switch to ESM, that will be, oh yeah, come on, I can do it. I can switch back to CommonJS if it actually supports that, and then it should be working. Having said that, I'll have to make so many things at the same time. Let's get rid of everything. First of all, Express. First Express const sequelize, right? So sequelize require sequelize don't want to export that, but never mind, we'll see. Why is this getting exported? Let's keep it here like this, and when it comes to these, so if I go to middleware, export dot, I think that's module dot exports. Just like this. So this is the export by default, right? Or I can do one thing. Let's have it here, and module dot exports, that's gonna be equals to error handler, just like this. So this thing is done. Coming back to this one, first of all, it needs a few things. Const UUID before, as UUID before, require. What is the problem? How about this? UUID before async local storage, that is actually in the context too. So const require node colon async hooks, and I'm actually gonna have it here. Async storage request context. Request context, is this a type? Okay, few things. New async local storage. What is the problem with this? Let's go ahead like this. Module exports and async local storage, get correlation ID. Whatever it supports, I'm going with that. As simple as that. Request require and context slash this .js. No suggestions. Async local storage was exported from there only, right? So if I go to context this, it should be okay. It is not giving me suggestions anyway. Async local storage should be here, and once we have it here, probably it wasn't giving me suggestions because of this. Never mind. Export for module dot exports, attach. Here we are. I'm not even able to go here and there, but we will see. So this thing is done. Const from express and we are gonna get the types here. Type request. Won't it work literally? Is not callable. It actually comes like this, request like this. Okay, fine. And this, as for the error, this is gonna come from here. Response dot is this, not the number has no false signature. Should it be status code? No, it should be status only. So what's the problem? And if I actually just remove it, then expected 0 arguments but got 1. Are you kidding me? I don't know why it's throwing there, but okay, we'll see it later. As for these ones, even this is not right. Comes from express. Okay, we have them here. Now the next function is a type. It cannot use next function as a type, literally. Namespace next function as a type unresolved. Okay. Let's give it in, that doesn't really matter. And because of this response type that I have, so let's ignore them. Let's have any type. It has come to this, so let's do it. It's like pure JavaScript code I'm writing now. then I'd better convert it to the JS. That's right. Oof. I'm gonna give them any type. For now, at the end of the day, the code is still in the TS, so I'll have to make sure that it is converted from TS to JS. So giving them any type. And anything else server.ts. Now let's talk about this. So correlation ID, not suggestions. So in that case, const require from where? From middleware, I think, or context slash request context. And from here, what will I get? I'm gonna get attached correlation ID. This is actually from there. Middleware slash request context middleware. This is done. And coming back to this, attach correlation ID, request response, any type. Error handler, const error handler, require dot middleware slash error handler. Let's see how it's gonna be like. I'm not even sure about what I'm doing. Const, and I've done so much. I'm just simply wondering. There was only one issue, that getting that particular file imported, and I changed the whole code. Never mind. env config. Export module dot exports env config that's gonna be require from config slash env logger. Few things here that need to be changed though. You better get rid of this. Const create logger comes from the format, or create logger comes from where? Create logger comes from Winston directly, and then from the format we get the remaining things. Const format create logger require Winston. As for this label message stuff, printf is already there. What is the problem? Get correlation ID, transports. So transports are also there. That problem is solved. And the correlation ID. So import const get correlation ID. That's gonna be from context slash request context. It's gonna have any type. Overall fine. Coming back to this one, logger const logger, and as for this logger, module dot exports, that's actually going to be equals to logger. Logger is going to be equals to require slash config slash logger. Now let's talk about this user. Const user require model slash user.ts user doesn't even support anything. Okay, that's fine. And let's check out the things now. Utilities, services, serials, routers. We have this router is not really used, so let's not worry about that. And okay, yes, it was like this initially, wasn't it? Module export, it was exported by default, and index.ts we didn't really change anything inside this. This one was like this only. Migrations, it can be now JS directly, no need to worry about it. And as for this, not really being used, so no worries, simply have it like this. Request context logger env configs what one npm run dev. Export a default router, so I have to make sure that routers are so module.export, that's gonna be equals to the router one. As for importing it, even I have to fix this thing first. Even before that I have to fix the controller. Export module.exports get health. Once this is done, I'm gonna get rid of this. As for these types, they are gonna have any type for now. Okay, all of them done. Apart from this particular thing, we are gonna come back here, get rid of both. Const router require express. Const getter health require what I have to get out of this file. That's gonna be v1 slash, and now I have to go to what, controllers slash else controller. Okay, this is done. Probably same thing I need to do here. Yeah, so now why doesn't this work? What did I do recently? Oh, I just removed this much. Anyway, let's literally This router is the problem, right? Here we are. Alrighty. Still unable to find this. Oh my god, literally I'm gone working on this project today. Uh, I'll make this ORM work. Doesn't matter how it works. JS, JS, JS. Enough of this JS, JS. We'll see how it doesn't work. JS even I don't need a controller. Forget about this. JS doesn't matter what I have to do. Environmental variable JS and this logger.js and within this dist folder from here. What it is saying that this any that I have everywhere. So wherever I have this any type, select them. Wherever I have this, let's just simply get rid of that. Seems to be okay, no errors as such. Next one, this section, wherever I have this any, get rid of them. Okay, here we are. Export index user. Now let's see the errors. Before even that, time to use node mon. Probably I don't even have the node mons, but let's just directly use node, and that's gonna be slash src slash server.js. That's gonna be right. Now here we are. As expected, we've got some errors here. Daily rotate is not a constructor. Daily rotate file is not a constructor. Logger. Const daily rotate file require Winston daily rotate file. What is the next thing? User.create is not a function. User.create. User is not defined. Server.js. Sorry. Okay, good stuff. Now we have to get this somehow. User, right? So user models user exported like this sort of an object, hence it where do I have to go? Server.js. It should be sort of like this. Let's see. Even user dot create, it is saying that is not defined. So what is actually defined? Let me know. I've done this much to just simply reach here. User dot okay, seems to be running. It should be user only. And then user dot init we have, which just simply initializes this. And once you get this, you have to get a user, and this user is gonna come from there. I could have used this in what the heck. Let me do one thing. I never thought of this thing, but this could have been done using it directly inside that. Now that's fine. So let me try this thing here first, then I'll try it outside. Okay, sequelize is not defined, that's great. What is the models user.ts JS, whatever that is. So it doesn't have sequelize. Let me do it here. And if I try to get the same thing here, well, this is not the right way, but just trying to make it work somehow, that is it. Module.exports, wherever I'm using user, I have to pass the data types in this. Wow. So whenever I'm actually using user, then I'll get my real user. Before that, no. Got it. So this is actually a function. Got it. So server.js, we won't get directly the main user. Rather, once we got this user, or it should be get user, and const user is gonna be equals to get a user, and I have to pass equalize, and the data types is used for this. As for this data types, do we actually have to pass? Here we are, everybody. Literally, it's been crazy. First of all, this, what is this? I'm already tired doing this. At the end, we got the result. Users, this. We had this value inside that. As we had that value, we are able to fetch it from the database. First of all, this sequelize, it is mainly optimized for CommonJS. Second thing, with CommonJS, just for CommonJS only. So I was trying to use it inside ECM, and that was the main problem convert my whole code in the common JS format, and once it is in the common JS format, it just simply started working. And the other thing was that I missed earlier, that was this particular section. From here, a function is actually getting exported, right? So when a function is getting exported, I have to pass this serialize configuration to the function, so that I am actually returned a real model object, in using that I can just simply call. So right now, it is even giving me suggestions, find all. So I can even find all just like this. Okay, that's amazing. Let me try this thing out there as well. All to JSON is not a function. Okay, that's fine. Pending promise, that is a promise. And here we got the data from the database. So we have user, we have data values. These are the data values. Most of them are null, previous values and all. So this is how it just simply goes on. The good thing is that we have done what? We have implemented this SQLized though. So this SQLized database, it probably supports TypeScript, but it is mainly built for what? Common JS. Just a minute. Is a SQLized ORM for ESM. Yes, SQLized is compatible with ESM, both are version 6, 7. Then we'll have to go through documentation. The way we configured the things and all, that's been mainly compatible with the common JS and supported ECMAScript. But at the end, the kind of code they provide that supports common JS. We'll try, give it one more try. Of course, we made it work this time, but we just used the common JS. Next time we will use ESM, and then we'll see what happens. We'll not use TypeScript at that time. We'll just go with that much only. But yeah, congratulations, we did this. There were a few more things like this repository. So whenever you are making the calls to the database, keep the code inside this repository section. This is the service section. So whenever inside the controller you are doing something, wrap that logic in a function and keep it inside service, so that inside the controller you have just one or two things. That is it. So this is the use of this service and repository section. Models and migrations, we already talked about them, and this is how the things just simply go on. Alrighty, I hope it does make sense. Coming back to this, so let's call it for half an hour or something. After half an hour I'll be back and then continue from here on. It's been how long? It's been 3 hours. Never mind, we made it work. Ultimately we are able to talk to the database and we are able to get the result to the database. That simply means it works. So it works when we are using common JS with JavaScript. Let's see with ESM. We'll definitely give it a try later. As for right now, that was it. I'm gonna be catching up soon. Bye bye.